everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't seen my first video, you should go check it out. Today we're going to be watching scary TikToks. I hope you enjoy. Let's get into the video.
Actually, like, scared the shit out of you on the internet, like ghosts or gin related?
Bro, you can never, this is something that you have to know. You can never, ever see a jinn. Impossible.
No, but like ghost creatures.
Impossible.
Like...
Islamically proven. You cannot see a jinn. We have something called the ghisha. We cannot see their world, and a lot of them cannot see us.
Not gonna believe this. Recently in May 2023, a couple nurses were working the late shift and decided to go explore a floor of their hospital that many believe is haunted. The floor is the old ER and has been abandoned for quite some time. Many passed away on this floor, and doctors, nurses, and staff refused to go in there alone. So the group decided to go explore. They wanted to check it out just for fun, but little did they know they would end up running for their lives. This is their footage from that night. Take a look.
Upstairs. It's right upstairs. Yeah, that's upstairs.
Do it.
They look like evil eyes. You guys need to come in with me.
Yeah,
Oh,
of
God,
course we're
listen.
gonna go in with you.
Thanks. Ooh, this feels weird. Was that you?
Yeah.
That's where it feels weird. Ooh. Oh! 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 The curtain moved!
No, it didn't.
Yeah, it did. It moved. It moved. It moved. Yes, it got. Oh, okay!
Creeped out yet? As one of the nurses enters a room, the curtain moves and then a cane falls over on its own. These nurses believe this was paranormal and were left spooked by the experience. What are your thoughts on this footage?
I would never do that for a dare, and I would also hate to be the last person running out of that room. Absolutely not.
Quick little side note, if you ever run across a little ghost girl, it is 99.9% definitely not a child. This is usually a D word. They take the form of a child because they want you to let your guard down and allow them in. Now, story time. This was submitted by Claire. I tagged her down below. Back in 2020, Claire, her mom, her dad, and 4-year-old sister moved into a home that was built in the 1960s. From the moment they moved in, Claire's little 4-year-old sister started to say that there was a girl by the name of Hannah that lived with them. No one in the family even knew anyone by that name, but as months went on, her little sister kept saying that Hannah would constantly hang out with her. It got to the point that the family started to get creeped out. Often, Claire would hear her little sister talking to somebody who wasn't there in her room. A lot of times, Claire would go up to her and ask if she wanted to play a game, but her little sister would tell her no because she was already playing the game with Hannah. Claire tried to shrug it off as her just probably having an imaginary friend, until one day Claire had gotten home from school. The minute she walked in, her little sister told her not to sit on the couch because Hannah was sitting there. Claire, wanting to mess with her sister, decided to sit on the couch repeatedly and stand up and then sit on it repeatedly, saying, "Ooh, what's Hannah gonna do about it?" It was all fun and games until that night. Claire was laying in bed, everybody was asleep, when she happened to open her eyes and saw a little girl standing at the foot of her bed. The girl looked to be about 8 to 10 years old, dressed in 1900s clothes with long black hair. She was just standing there, eerily staring at her. Claire was of course terrified and decided to just cover herself and hope that this thing would just go away. The next morning she told her mom about it, but of course her mom did not believe her. They shortly ended up moving out of this house, but this would not be the end of it. Hannah ended up following them into the new home. Claire went from having that first experience to then constantly waking up to Hannah being in the room with her. A lot of times she would sit on the other side of the bed and would rock back and forth, or she would just stroke her hair or like rub her back. Claire decided to tell her dad about it. He confessed that he too was also having experiences. A lot of times he would wake up to somebody pulling his leg like his mom used to when he was in school. Claire's parents ended up saging and cleansing the home, and within a month's time, all of the activity finally stopped. Till this day, Claire wonders where Hannah even came from and why she came into their lives in the first place.
That's crazy. Any child comes to me and says that there's any friend or anything, I'm believing them, and likely I'm not gonna be around that child again. Let's hope my own future children do not do that, because absolutely not.
This is the scariest story about sneaking out. One summer night, a girl named Kim snuck out of her house to go to a party. When she got to the party, she started saying hi to all of her friends, got a couple drinks, and started having a great time. Later that night, when the party ended and everybody started to leave, Kim started walking home. And the whole time walking home, she had the strangest feeling that somebody was watching her. So Kim began walking a little bit faster. Then, out of nowhere, a man dressed in all black appeared on the road. Kim then let out a terrifying scream as the man sprinted towards her. The next morning, Kim's parents were woken up by somebody knocking on the door. When Kim's father looked through the peephole, he saw Kim's face, so he immediately opened the door. But what he saw when he opened that door haunts him to this day. It was Kim's severed head hanging from a nail above the door, with her head directly in front of the peephole. Kim's murderer was never found, and to this day the case remains open. And the scary part is, this man could be out there still doing the same exact thing he did to Kim.
That's a really crazy story. If this is a true story, I'm gonna do some more research on this to see if it's true. But if you know that it's true, comment down below and let me know. That sounds really crazy.
Most terrifying paranormal footage, part 25.
Just here, it's like a sports camera there, and it's going to film.
The 400-year-old cottage told me everything I needed to know. Absolutely not.
The window, just there. So we'll just see. We'll just see what happens and see if we do get actually a visitor tonight. We'll just make sure this is all shut and everything, which it is.
I cannot with that black, like with the wind, like the darkness of the window and it opening. Absolutely not. I'm out. I don't have time for no one to pop out of the darkness. We don't have time for that.
This is the scariest story about the baby's first words. There was a woman named Mary who had a 19-month-old baby girl. She loved her baby so much and couldn't wait for her to say her first words. One night when Mary was cooking dinner, her husband called her out into the living room. He said their daughter was trying to say something. After Mary and her husband watched their baby mumble for a bit, the baby then said, "Mommy dies." Mary and her husband both looked at each other in confusion. Mary thought she misheard her baby, but by the look on her husband's face, they heard the same thing. The couple then laughed it off and went on with their night. The next morning, Mary was on her way to work when she suddenly got into a fatal car accident. She was then immediately rushed to the hospital where her daughter and husband were waiting for her. When Mary's daughter and husband went into the room she was in, Mary's daughter pointed at her and said, "Mommy dies." And minutes later, Mary died from her injuries. Nobody knows how the baby knew her mom was going to die. This led to Mary's husband resenting the baby because he believed his baby had some cause in his wife's death. He then put the baby up for adoption not even a year later. To this day, nobody knows where the girl is, and many people wonder if she's still predicting people's deaths.
Giving up your baby for adoption because of an assumption about the baby is wild and out of pocket. You're gonna give away the baby. And also, you don't know, it could have been like an evil spirit whispering in her ear, telling her that forever, and she just repeated it. So, giving up your kid is crazy. That's crazy though.
This is a scary story about the stare. A girl was sitting on a subway late one night when she noticed that the woman sitting across from her was staring intently at her. The woman was sitting between two old men. The girl kept looking away, but the woman wouldn't break eye contact with her. The stare was beginning to freak the girl out. At the next stop, a new passenger got on. It was a tall man in a gray trench coat. He sat down next to the girl. The woman paid no attention to the man in the trench coat. She just kept looking at the girl, who was getting more and more creeped out as time went on. The two old men didn't even glance in her direction. She pretended not to notice, but each time she glanced at the strange woman, the stare continued. When the train was pulling into the next stop, the man in the trench coat got up to leave. Suddenly, he grabbed the girl's arm tightly, and as the doors opened, he dragged her off the train. The doors shut and the train pulled off, leaving the girl alone on the platform with the man in the trench coat. She started screaming out loud, begging for help. But the man in the trench coat said, "Calm down, I just saved your life. I didn't mean to scare you, but I had to get you off that train." The woman sitting opposite of you was dead, and the two men beside her were propping up her body.
Okay, that is weird. Also, I don't like for people to stare at me. It's very weird. I would immediately got off the train or something. But all right, that's the end of the scary TikTok videos. Thanks for watching with me. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let me know what you thought about this compilation. Was it scary to you? Which was your favorite? All of that, and let me know if you believe in any of this stuff. But like I said, I like watching these videos with you, so let me know, and have a great night.